Can you predict what will come in 100 years? Can you see beyond the known dimensions of time and space into the unknown, Dimension X? The ridge stars spread 200 light years across space. To the passengers on the immigration spaceship from Earth, they appear to be pinpoints of light in the darkness. The men, women, and children slept in their bunks in the tiered dormitories, or sat reading the immigration folders that describe the worlds of the ridge stars in glowing, rosy terms. Anne Travis stood before the vision port and searched for the spot of light which would be her new home.
You can't tell which is which, can you? Well, I asked the steward for mine. There it is. You see? That nice, bright little star up in the left-hand corner? That one? Yes. Alka 3. I'm going to meet my son there. He sent for me. Harry always was a good son. I used to say to my husband just before he died, Harry is a good son. I'm going to Dora 3. My sister's there. Oh, isn't that nice? It's a wonderful thing for a young girl like you to start life way out here. I used to tell Harry's father that if he had any spunk, he'd be out on the ridge stars making a fortune. He was assistant buyer at Bloomingdale's kitchenware. I see. Maybe if I asked the purser, he could point out Dora 3. Oh, well, you go ahead, dear. You've paid your fare like everybody else. What did you say your name was? Anne Travis. Well, I'm Lottie Elders, Mrs. Harold E. Elders, though, of course, I don't use Harold's name now. Are you all alone? Yes, my folks died last year. That's why I'm coming out to live with my sister. Oh, why, you poor child, traveling halfway across space with nobody to talk to.
Attention. Attention, all passengers.
There it is. I just know it.
You are now within the Ridge Star quadrant. The trip is almost over. Captain Braxton wishes me to inform you that a vote will shortly be taken to determine on which planet of which sun every passenger of this ship will be landed.
What is he talking
The
about?
majority will decide, and all must abide by the decision.
I don't understand. What did he say about a vote? I don't believe it. He said everybody had to go to the same planet, didn't he? But Harry's on Alka 3. Look here, Mrs. Elders, they can't get away with this. They can't just set us down anywhere. I've got to meet my sister, but what can we do? I don't know, but I'm going to find out. I'm going to see the captain right now.
Landing manifest 12436. Cargo holds 1 through 12 at premium rate, including...
I want to see the captain.
Oh, look, I'm busy now.
What kind of an outrage is this? I'm going to join my sister on Dora 3. That's where I bought my ticket for, and that's where I'm going. Vote or no vote.
That's what you think, lady. I'll call you back, Jerry.
I want to see the captain immediately. Do you hear?
Yeah, sure, I hear. Perfect in both ears.
What's the meaning of this? What are you people trying to get away with?
We're not trying, sister. You're in space now, kid. We don't go by Earthside red tape.
But my ticket...
Oh, you can paste that in the scrapbook. That's all it's worth. Where you're going, kid, fortunes are made and lost every day. The rich stars are wide open, and what the big operators say goes.
But my sister's waiting for me.
Oh, she'll get tired. It's a game, kid, and you're in.
The folder said you were encouraging immigration.
Oh, sure. But all the improvements in Earthside working conditions in the past 50 years were to prevent wholesale immigration to the rich. That's why we have to cut the price of the tickets below cost to suck you immigrants out here.
Why did you lie? Why won't you take us where we want to go?
It's simple, kid. The only way to make a profit is to dump each shipload in one place. This cargo goes to Delphi 2.
But the announcer said there was going to be a vote.
Oh, sure. But we've got it rigged so Delphi 2 gets it. Simple, isn't it?
But you can't.
Oh, it's not so bad, Delphi. It's okay. Real balmy. Great world. Especially for a kid like you.
But how would I get to my sister? She's expecting me on Dora 3. Can I take another ship?
Not where you're going.
What do you mean?
Look, baby. Space travel is an Earthside monopoly. They own the patents on the rocket power that makes space travel possible. Now, the rich government offered a prize for a new kind of power that wouldn't infringe on Earth rocket patents. But until that drive is developed, you just won't get off Delphi 2.
can't travel to another planet?
That's right. There isn't any public transport, and only a millionaire could afford a private jet.
You mean I'm just stuck?
Mm-hmm. Like a fly on flypaper. Hey, where you going?
Back to my bunk. I want to lie down.
Wait a minute. I'm afraid you can't leave here till that boat is taken.
Why not?
Well, I'm a kindly type, friendly fella. I always give a straight story to anybody, but that means I've got to keep them under wraps. So, you'll stay right here till we land on Delphi 2.
All immigrants who have not been cleared, please report to the inspector under the first letter of their last name.
Anne, where have you been, child? I looked all over for you. They kept me in the Christmas cabin. Mrs. Elders, what shall we do? I'm sure I don't know. Harry, he's my son. You know, he'll be just frantic. I know.
Attention. Any immigrants not cleared or in the proper line in 10 minutes will be indefinitely detained.
Oh, dear, I haven't been cleared yet. Oh, well, you'd better go then. I'll wait for you right here. Oh, be sure you do, dear. I'm so frightened. Oh, which way do I go? Oh, the E sign is over there, see? Oh, I don't have my distance glasses. You will wait for me, dear? Yes, right here. Go along now.
All right, you. Come on.
What? Who are you?
Never mind. Come on. Grab her, Al. Come on.
Let go of me. What's the idea? Let go.
Get her.
Who are you? Let go. Let go.
We can't take any chances, Al. Put her out. Right.
Come on, up.
What happened?
Come on, sit up.
What? Who are you? Your face.
That's a motor-driven face dissolver mask.
I've read about them. I've never seen one. Who are you?
That's why I'm wearing a mask, because I don't want you to know.
But there must be...
Look, lady, quit babbling. I hauled you in because you're pretty and intelligent-looking.
But why?
You're going to make 1,000 stellars for yourself, whether you like it or not. Now stop looking like a scared rabbit.
You can't do this. I'll call the police.
The police? What do you know about the Red Star's government?
Nothing.
Obviously. Around here, things are different. Now, listen. You go to the New Sol Hotel. As soon as you're registered, you go to the Fair Play Employment Agency. They'll take care of you. Now, take this. It's a tape reel. Play it back in your room. It'll tell you what to do. After it's played once, it'll destroy itself. Is that clear?
I don't understand this at all.
Have you ever heard of the 7-day poison?
I don't think so.
Well, it's an interesting device. It feeds on the blood. On the 7th day, undergoes a chemical change and... Very easy to use. You just inject it like this.
Oh.
Yeah, it's all over. For 7 days. The beauty of this poison is it can be made to look like a lock pattern in many thousands of small variations. The only antidote must be some of the original poison at its base. And I have that. Don't get hysterical. I'll keep the antidote here. You can get it after you've done what I want.
But I don't know where I am. I don't know who you are. What if something happens to you?
That's your problem. But remember, the police can't help you. I have the antidote to the poison. All right, I'm through with her. Take her out and drop her at the hotel.
Room 2635.
Yes?
And Travis?
Yes? Who is this?
Play that tape reel and get started. We'll be watching you.
Hello? Hello?
Hotel New Sol desk. Can I help you?
I was cut off. Someone was speaking to me.
I'm sorry, there was no incoming call on your line. Can I help you?
No, never mind. I'd better play that tape. Guess you push this button.
You will find in your purse a full cigarette case. Half of the cigarettes are doped. Tomorrow, you will be hired as private secretary to Arthur Blord. When you're alone with him, you will give him one of the cigarettes. The case ejects 2 at a time. The outer one is doped. When he's unconscious, push the brown knob on the case. That will call my men, and they will come for you. You must come with them if you wish the antidote to the poison. After that, you'll be transported to any Ridge Star you wish. As soon as you play this reel, go to the Fair Play Employment Agency. There's no time to waste. Tomorrow, the 7-day poison will have only 6 days to go. Now that the reel is finished, it will destroy itself.
Why do they have to pick me? Oh, the reel. Come on, Travis. You've got 7 days.
Come in, Miss Travers. Well, everything seems in order. I must verify one thing.
Yes, Miss Margerson?
You did arrive just yesterday on that immigrant ship from Earth.
Oh, yes, sir.
And this is your first job, not only on Delphi, but on any planet other than Earth.
Yes, sir, that's right.
We'll check that, of course. In the meantime, we can go up to see Mr. Blord. You'll be his private secretary. Just wait, please.
Did you say...
Did I say what?
Never mind. Nothing.
Have you heard of Arthur Blord before?
Not exactly.
You would if you'd been in the Ridge Stars longer. Amazing man. Amazing. We'll wait here for the elevator.
He must be very important.
Important? There are names out here that they've never heard of back on Earth, and the greatest name is Arthur Blord.
Really?
In less than 10 years, he's made himself an astronomical fortune. Astronomical. Here we are. After you. Penthouse.
What's he like?
You'll see. Very dynamic. Sharp. He outsmarts the big shots, the planetary operators. They exploit whole worlds. He exploits them. They hate him, the Ridge Star operators. Well, here we are. Come along, Miss Travers. Mr. Blord is waiting for you. Mr. Blord, this is Ann Travers, her record and references.
Not interested. You check them. Margerson, get out.
Yes, Mr. Blord.
Ready, Miss Travis?
Yes, Mr. Blord.
Take this dictation. Chromium field on Transion 4, value 100 billion stellars. Just plain slogging. Let somebody else do it. Trigona 7, forest, all treasure wood, priceless. Dennis Carey, operator, hard, cruel, brilliant. Should be interesting if All right, Miss Travis. You're new to Delphi, too, aren't you?
Yes, Mr. Blord.
I like new cities, new planets. They're soulless. They have no culture, no institutions with hardening of the arteries.
Yes, sir.
Now, I came out here as a wiper in an Earthside liner and jumped ship at Transion 4. That was 10 years ago. You couldn't do that on an old world. Earthside, they developed the science. Out here, we use it. The great developments today aren't in science. You don't believe that, do you?
I'm not sure, sir. Will there be any more dictation, Mr. Blord?
No, that's all. Don't leave yet. Mind if I smoke?
No.
Like a cigarette?
I, sir?
I asked if you'd like a cigarette.
Oh, thank you, but I have my own.
Oh? Earth cigarettes? Would you mind letting me have one? They're very rare out here.
Of course.
That's an interesting case. Ejects 2 at a time.
Here, Mr. Blord, take one.
Yes, thank you. Haven't smoked one of these in years. Light, Miss Travis?
Thank you.
Oh, drop the lighter under the desk. I'll get it. Sit back in your chair. Should be down here. Miss Travis. Miss Travis. Hello, Dr. Gregg. Lord. I've got a girl here I want you to examine. No, she's out cold. Nope. Had her sitting in that wired chair, and I just threw the switch. There was something phony about her from the beginning. The pickup needle from her chair was jumping like a kangaroo, and when I mentioned cigarettes, it practically blew a fuse. That's what I want to find out. Why she should be carrying doped cigarettes. I want her examined. The full hypnotism treatment if necessary. I want to find out who sent her. I want to know who's gunning for me.
There you are, Blood. That's the best I can do, short of a full-length narco analysis.
You sure about that 7-day poison?
Absolutely. She's got less than 6 days.
And she was right off the immigrant ship. This is the first time I've had a plant. Somebody found out I hire 'em fresh from Earth.
I've got her memory track on that face dissolver mask. It was Delaney.
I thought so. But he isn't working alone. It's that gang working for the prize on the new space drive. I got into the competition 2 weeks ago, and I guess they're afraid of losing the money they've put into research.
What about this kid? She's got 6 days to live, and I wouldn't take any bets that they try to save her if she doesn't deliver the goods.
They wouldn't even save her if she did. Delaney wouldn't want witnesses. Doc, set everything up the way it was before she went under.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to let them take me.
Wait a minute. They're liable.
I know what they're liable to do, Doc. You take care of the girl and leave the rest to me.
Okay. It's your funeral.
Maybe. Now, let's revive Miss Travis. You set up the projectors. Come on, hop to it.
All set now. When you reverse the field, she'll come to, and she won't even know anything happened. You remember exactly what you were doing when you knocked her out?
Sure. I was looking for the lighter under the table for that doped cigarette of hers.
Well, I'll be going. Good luck, Artur. You'll need it.
I'll be seeing you, Doc. All right, Miss Travis. Now let's take up where we left off.
Oh, I felt faint for a minute. Did you find the lighter, Mr. Bloor?
Oh, yes. Thank you. I haven't had a good drag on an Earth cigarette in years. It's... stronger than I...
I've got to call those men now. Let's see the brown knob on the case. I didn't want to hurt him, but what can I do? What can I
do? How's Blood, Al?
I'd like a light. This dame sure fixed him.
do? Where are we going?
What do you care?
Tell her. In 6 days, it won't matter.
The boss give orders.
What's the difference? These two are dead ducks.
What do you mean?
You think the boss will give you that antidote?
He promised.
Al, he promised.
Did he really?
But did he give his scouts honor?
You know, spit twice and cross
Please,
his heart.
stop it. What will happen to him?
Blood? Oh, you got me. Last 3 guys I brought over here ended up in the disposal unit.
You mean they'll kill him?
Wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, no, they couldn't.
They don't play for marbles out here in the rich stars.
But the police.
It's just like Earthside, sister. Police take their cut and arrest a couple of bindle stiffs every night to make it look good.
Blood was playing around with some pretty big men. He knew what he was getting into.
Oh, I didn't think they'd kill him. I don't know anything about the Ridge Stars.
Oh, that's tough, lady. Real tough.
There's the beam. We're hit.
All right, fasten your straps. I'm taking her down.
Where are we going?
You're on Delphi 1.
What is this place?
A private escape. Very private. How you coming with Blord, Al?
He's happy.
All right. We stop here. I gotta spring the voice lock. Combination. 1, 3, alibi, Peter, uranium.
Repeat.
These things never work. 1, 3, alibi, Peter, uranium. All right, drag him in now. Where do you want him, boss?
Clamp him in the chair.
Give me a hand, will you?
Yeah.
All right. Get his feet straight. Now throw the clamps.
Inject the key stimulant.
Right, boss. Tear off his sleeve, Al. All set, boss.
Do we have to keep on the masks? I got a cold. No, I think we can do without them. Shut off the power.
There we are. He's coming to.
Well, Delaney, what am I doing here?
I think we can get down to business, Blord. We represent 90 companies. We've entered the Ridge government contest to develop a space drive that won't infringe on Earthside patents.
Oh? Well, Delaney, I've got news for you. Unless one of you has a power drive that's 25% faster than an Earthside rocket, you're licked. What do you mean?
You must know, Delaney, you said...
Quiet. Can't you see he's trying to get us arguing?
When I heard some of the low speed you boys were
Shut
using...
up.
All right. You have the floor, Delaney.
2 weeks ago, you entered the contest. We know your reputation. You can't afford a failure.
Your whole financial structure is a bluff.
We know you have the drive. Lord, you better save time. Tell us now, what does your space drive run on?
Twisted rubber band.
You'll force us to extremes, Blord. All right, take that girl out of here.
No, let go of me. You can't kill him. I didn't know you tricked me into getting in
Get
here.
her out.
Come on, sister.
Let go.
Oh, all right. So you want to play rough?
Okay, that's 23 you owe me. Your deal.
Cut.
I trust your deal.
Oh, she's coming too, huh?
That's nice. Deal from the top.
Did they kill him?
Who knows? You want the top card?
No.
Neither do I.
Where is he?
In there.
They'll let him go, won't they? They've got to. I didn't realize they'd kill him.
Well, thank you. Just the card I wanted.
A pleasure, I'm sure.
Look, you've got to tell me. Are they going to kill Mr. Blord?
Look, lady. A, you are interrupting a very important card game. B, you're better off if they do kill Blord.
Let's face it, kiddo. You crimped him good.
Crimped him?
You think he's going to like you for doping him and getting him into this mess? Blord's a tough guy. When he first come out to the ridge, he killed 3 men in a mining camp over on Tranching when they double-crossed him.
Sure, if he ever gets out of this, I wouldn't bet a lead slug on your life. I'll go with 10.
Please.
Tough luck, Sonny. I got 3. And double for spades. Yep, if Blord gets loose, I wouldn't want to be in your place.
But I didn't understand. They tricked me.
I don't think Blord will sympathize. Deal the cards, will you? Hold it.
Blord, you're a crawling rat.
I'm a realist, Delaney.
He's alive.
You got me. So I'll make a deal. Now, look. We form a joint stock company. Each of you signs over his patent rights to the new firm, and we split the shares.
You hear that?
You get my space drive. I get 25%. Delaney runs the new company. The whole deal to be publicized if you wish.
Blord, when this gets out, it'll ruin you. They'll despise you when they find out how much dirt you've eaten.
Well, I didn't have much choice, did I? All right. Now the other part of the deal. You got me here through a certain young lady.
Now, we can dispose of her.
No, I think I'd like to do that. I'll take her as part of my 25%. Any objections, Delaney?
No, just be careful. Get rid of it clean. We don't want any mess left around for the Ridge government to find.
What are you going to do with me? You promised
Did I? Get rid of it, Blord. Only make it clean.
You can loosen your strap now. We're on automatic.
Where are we going?
Back to Delphi 2.
I didn't understand what they were going to do.
I know.
I didn't realize.
I'm sure you didn't. Miss Travis,
What are you going to do?
I'm going to pay you off.
Let go of my arm. Let go. Let go of me!
Shut up. What are you screaming about? Now hold still. This won't take a second. Just one small injection.
No, don't. Let me go, please.
Stop wriggling. Stop. There. Scratched my face like a cat.
Will it take long
What?
for me to die?
For you to...
Stop it, please. Please, stop it.
But it's funny. It's very funny. That was the antidote.
The antidote?
The 7-day poison Delaney gave you. I got it from him before we left. Young lady, I knocked you out in my office and had your mind examined. I knew just what you had done. I came here because I wanted to.
Oh. You mean you're not angry with me?
Certainly not. Besides, everything turned out my way.
Your way? But they forced you to give them the drive. You've signed away the right.
I'm a percentage man. Let them do the operating. Besides, it was their drive in the first place.
Their drive?
Yes, it's simple. I knew that after the contest, there'd be a merger of research, so I merged it before instead. Wait till they discover they signed away their own patent rights. I don't think they'll feel like laughing then.
But to give Delaney control of the new company.
But don't you see, I had to get him to go along. He had the antidote to your poison.
What about me now?
Look at the vision port. Now turn up the scale.
Oh.
That's the ridge. You can have your pick. Name your world, and I'll take you there. You said your sister was on Doridora 3.
Yes, but
But what?
I wonder if the opportunities for advancement aren't greater on your planet, Mr. Blower.
You know, Miss Travis, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they were.
How would you like to live in a world no larger than a single gigantic rocket ship? You'll find out more about it next week on...
Dimension
Today, Dimension X's transcribed Competition, adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy from a story by E.M. Hull. Featured in the cast were Elaine Rost as Anne and Les Tremaine as Arthur Blord. Your host was Norman Rose. Music by Burt Berman, engineer Bill Chambers. Dimension X is produced by William Welch and directed by Edward King.
Adventures in Time and Space. Transcribed in future tense. Can you predict the future? Can you tell what will come in 100 years? Or in 10? Or in the next minute? Tonight, Dimension X brings you a glimpse of what may well happen within your own lifetime. The Robert Heinlein story, The Roads Must Roll.
Here's a run, watch them run. Oh, our job is never done, for our roadways go rolling along. While you ride, we are watching down inside, so your roadways keep rolling along. Oh, it's high, high heat, the roadermen are we. Check off the sectors loud and strong. 1, 2, anywhere you go, you are bound to know that your roadways keep rolling along. Keep 'em rolling! Your roadways keep rolling along.
It was in the middle 1950s that the automotive age began to die. The traffic engineers had long expected it. For years, they had watched our vast cities sprawl and spread out, spill over into the countryside, become more and more dependent on motor transportation. And then finally, the inevitable breaking point was reached. The growing flood of cars and buses and trucks began to swamp the streets and arterial highways. The building of roads could no longer keep pace. The superhighways clogged, congested, became packed with cars stalled bumper to bumper, and the cities began to die of slow strangulation, for the traffic could no longer roll. And then the engineers took over. They banned the automobiles, tore up the superhighways, and in their place they built the rolling roads. Mechanized roads that moved like huge conveyor belts, whirling along on their giant rotors at speeds ranging from 5 to 100 miles an hour, carrying the freight, the food, and the people from city to city and coast to coast. An engineering miracle had changed the face of a nation. The automobiles and railroads vanished. The rolling roads had taken over all transportation. And no one worried over the fact that if the roads should ever stop, our whole economic life would stop. For the machinery had never failed yet. The machinery that rolled the roads was perfect. But people forgot that machinery depends on men, the men who run it.
Who makes the roads roll? That's right. The engineers. Not the supervisors, not the mechanic union, but the engineers. We're the brains of the roads. And where would the public be if we didn't keep those roads out there rolling? Right behind the 8-ball, and everybody knows it. All right, then. We're the men who hold the power. It's time we started using it. Right. We've called this meeting of the Engineers Control Committee because that's what we want to do, control. Your time, boy. Because I'm tired of taking orders from the Transport Commission, from slick desk jockeys like Jim Gaines, who don't even know a rotor bearing from a field car. Let Gaines yammer about our duty to the public. That's a lot of eyewash. We've got the power, and we're the men that count. It's time we quit fiddling around and use a little direct action to get what we want.
Let's go. Mr. Chairman. The chair recognizes Brother Harvey of the Transport Mechanics Union.
Thanks, boys. I don't rightly belong here since I'm no engineer. I'm just here to represent the workers' union. But I want to know what's all the shooting for. You engineers have got better working conditions than we have, and we ain't kicking. You say you engineers are powerful. You say you can tie up the roads.
That's right.
Well, listen. So can any screwball with a jar of nitroglycerin.
Hey, what's he can?
Yeah, and he don't need no engineering degree neither.
Harvey, are you speaking for your union now? Or are you here as a stooge for the Transport Commission?
Yeah.
union, and I led the strike in 75 for decent working conditions. Where were you engineers then, huh? With the feet!
Now, Brother Harvey, remember you're only a guest at this meeting.
Go on, Van.
Now, listen, men. I'm one of the old engineers on the roads. You all worked up the hardwood. We didn't go to the fancy technical institutes like those young punk cadets the commissioners training to take over our jobs. That's right, man. Jim Gaines don't fill us full of the old school spirit and that baloney about how the roads must roll. So, all right, then. Why don't we get smart for a change? What would happen if the roads stopped rolling? Maybe the country would begin to realize that they can't do without us. And maybe we'd begin to get the things we want. The roads must roll!
Yes? Your wife is calling, Mr. Gaines.
All right, put her on.
Jim, I want you to stop off on your way home and
I'm sorry, darling, I can't make it.
Oh, but you promised.
Yes, I know, but Washington called in. They're sending Evans, the Australian Minister of Transport, through my sector today. I've got to show him through personally.
Well, can't somebody else?
Well, I'm chief supervisor. It wouldn't be courteous.
Darling, courtesy begins at home. I've planned this dinner for weeks.
Honey, the roads must roll.
Jim, if you quote that nauseating slogan at me again, I'll divorce you.
Well, I can't help it, darling. I tell you, I'll meet you at Stockton at 9. We'll take in a show. Kiss Alan goodnight for me.
Well, all right, dear. Goodbye.
Bye, darling.
Mr. Evans is here.
Send him in.
Go right in, sir.
Well, good evening, Mr. Evans. I'm Gaines, chief engineer.
How do you do, Mr. Gaines?
Won't you sit down?
Thank you. They told me at the embassy you'd be the man to see.
Oh?
I want to know how the roads work.
I think we can handle that.
I'm not a technical man, Mr. Gaines. My field is sociology. Suppose you tell me about the roads as if I were entirely ignorant.
Well, fine. Well, it's nearly dinner time. Suppose we run up to Stockton sector for dinner.
All right.
Take us about an hour on the roads, and you can see them working.
Excellent.
If you'll excuse me for a minute.
Of course.
Hi, Chief. What can I do for you?
Oh, Dave, you're on the evening watch, huh? Where's Van Cleek?
Oh, going to some meeting.
I'm going up to Stockton for dinner. Anything to report?
No, sir. The roads are rolling.
Okay, keep them rolling. All right, Mr. Evans, let's go. This here is the low-speed strip. You ever ridden a conveyor before?
No.
Oh, it's quite simple. Remember to face the motion of the strip as you get on. Oh, that's it.
All right.
We'll go right across here. Each adjoining strip is a few miles an hour faster than the one next to it.
I see.
Freight is carried on the 50-mile strip. Most passenger traffic is on the express strip.
Oh, yeah.
All right, now, watch your step.
All right.
Here we are, maximum speed.
100 miles an hour. Amazing.
This strip makes a round trip San Diego to Reno in 12 hours. Oh, here's a restaurant. Ready to eat?
But is this a restaurant?
There's a sign, Jake's Steakhouse, fastest meal on the road.
Is it really a proper restaurant?
Yeah, well, the best. Hooked right into the moving strip, of course. Shall we go in?
Hello there, Mr. Gaines. We don't see much of you out on the road.
Well, busy in the office, Jake.
Oh, two, right this way.
Thank you.
Here we are. Now, what'll it be?
Well, you order it, Jake.
Well, how about a steak? 2 inches thick from a steer that died happy.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Plug me in the intercom, will you, Jake?
Sure, there's a talk box right next to it. Blank tool, Ryan.
If you excuse me, Mr. Evans.
Davidson on watch.
This is the chief, Davidson. I'm at Jake's Steakhouse. You can reach me at 10L66.
10L66, right.
There now. They can get a hold of me in an emergency now.
Mr. Gaines, what kind of an emergency could there be?
Well, 2 principally.
Power failure on the rotors would bring the road to a standstill. Mm-hmm. That happened during rush hour, we'd have to evacuate millions of people.
Well, as many as that?
Oh, yes, easily. There are 12 million people dependent on this section of road. Gaines here.
Hello, Chief. Davidson. I just got the hourly reports in.
Proceed.
Cadet engineer Gunther, while on watch, was found playing cards with C.J. Ross, technician on duty.
Any damage?
One rotor running hot, but still synchronized. It was jacked down and replaced.
All right. Have the paymaster give Ross his time. Turn him over to civil authorities. Place Cadet Gunther under arrest. Bring him to Road Town Central.
Yes, sir.
All right. Keep him rolling. As I was saying, Evans, there are two possibilities of danger. Can you visualize what would happen if the strip under us would break?
I hadn't thought of that. You don't realize you're traveling at 100 miles an hour.
Well, it can't break, not now. The strip has a safety factor of over 12 to 1. Mm-hmm. This is good soup, Jake.
Thank you, Mr. Gaines.
But you know, Evans, a break did happen once in the early days. That was on the Philadelphia-Jersey City Road.
Dear me, no.
That's right. The strip wasn't much more than a conveyor belt then. You know, it buckled for miles, crushing passengers against the roof. Yeah. Forward section in front of the brake spilled them down under into the rotors and the rollers.
Was it very bad?
Over 3,000 people were killed in that break. But, Evans, the roads had to go on. You know, the entire economic system hangs on the roads. If they stopped now, the country would starve.
Isn't it possible that you've become too dependent on these roads, Mr. Gaines? For example, what if you had a strike?
We had a strike back in 75, but, there's not much danger of that anymore.
No? Why not?
Every cadet that goes to work on the roads today is a graduate of the United States Transport Academy.
Oh, I see.
They're all picked men, screened for emotional stability. They're trained to give us the same kind of loyalty that Annapolis and West Point develop in their men.
You're a graduate, I suppose, Mr. Gaines?
No, I was too old for that. The academy wasn't set up till after the strike in 75. But it won't be long now, maybe 5 or 10 years, Evans, before the oldest engineer on the roads is a man who's been through that academy. Now, Gaines here.
Davidson, Chief, there's trouble in Sacramento sector.
What is it? What's happening?
Emergency stop. Hello, Davidson. The phones must be out. Come on. Jake!
Hey, what is it? What's the matter?
Have everybody stay in the restroom, Jake.
What's that?
Probably somebody stepped onto the next strip. Got cut to ribbons. There'll be plenty of casualties. Jake, where's your getaway hatch?
In the pantry.
Well, how am I going to help those people?
I've got the whole road to think of. Now, don't bother me. Give me a hand, Jake. This hatch is stuck here. All right, if you're coming with me, Mr. Evans, you've got to move fast. I haven't got any time to waste.
Where are we now?
Freeway on top of the inner road ceiling. That's the outer shell over us, sir.
Are we going outside?
No, there'll be an access down manhole over here. They're spaced every 100 feet. It's there by the green light. Oh. All right, this will get us down on the northbound road. Careful now, it's dark.
All right.
Stand away from that door, Evan.
But this road is still rolling.
Yeah, so it is. It was only the 100-mile strip that stopped. There's what I want, a phone booth. Look out, Evans. Excuse me, will you?
Hey!
Out.
I'm talking to my wife. What?
Don't argue. Out. Emergency priority. Division office.
Davidson?
Gaines here. Report.
Chief, where you been? I've been calling...
Never mind that report.
709 report. Strip 20 past emergency level. Interlocks acted and cut the strip out. Cause of failure unknown. Direct communication to Sacramento control office out. Evacuation of strip 20 commenced. No casualties.
There are casualties. I saw them. Put police and hospital routine A into operation. Get me Van Cleek. I want him to take over for me till I report in.
We can't reach him, Chief. Shall I cut out the rest of the road?
No, keep those other strips rolling or we'll have a traffic jam the devil himself couldn't untangle. There are 5 million passengers on that road now. Notify the governor that I've assumed emergency authority. Arm all cadets available and await orders.
Shall I recall technicians off watch?
No, this isn't an engineering failure, man. That whole sector went out simultaneously. Somebody cut those rotors by hand. Now, I want all available senior class cadets to report to Stockton Subsector Office 10 with pistols and tear gas.
Yes, sir. Oh, the governor wants to talk to you. He called in.
Refer him to somebody else. I'm busy. I'll get back to you. I'm going down under. You can't hear without an anti-noise filter. All right, come on.
What are we looking for?
A recon car. There should be one here.
Are those the rotors?
Yeah, the big ones are rotors. They drive the road. The little ones are rollers. They give continuous support.
I see.
Oh, there's a watch gang now, jacking down a rotor.
Can they hear us?
No, the noise filter works on a 4-foot radius. I'll flash them. He sees the light.
Is that Wilson reporting, sir?
I want your recon car, emergency.
Yes, sir. Right over here, sir.
Come on, Evans. All right, now, get in.
Well, it's so small.
Oh, you fit. All right. All right, now, hang on. She accelerates like a rocket.
Oh, my stomach. Oh.
Relay station.
This is Gaines. Get me Davidson, senior watch officer.
Mr. Gaines, the mayor wants to talk.
I haven't got time. Get me Davidson. Leave this circuit hooked into Davidson's board until I tell you to cut it.
Yes, sir. Here's the senior watch officer.
Davidson?
Gaines calling. Have you found out yet what's stopping the roads?
No, sir. It's still a mystery to me.
All right, I'm on my way in a recon car. Hold everything till I get there.
Cadet Edmonds reporting, sir. 3 platoons of cadet engineers standing by with tumblebug motorcycles.
Are they armed?
Pistols and tear gas is ordered.
All right, good.
Assistant Supervisor Van Cleek is calling you on Circuit 9.
Well, it's about time. Cut me in.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Van. Where are you?
Sacramento office. Now listen,
Sacramento. That's good. Report.
in a pig's eye.
What?
I'm not your deputy anymore, Gaines.
Van, what are you talking about?
Listen, don't interrupt me and you'll find out. It's true, Gaines. I've been picked as director of the Engineers Control Committee. We're taking over.
Have you gone off your rotor?
You can't start Strip 20 until I'm ready to let you.
Van!
I can stop the whole road if I have to.
Van Creek, I'll call in the Army.
How'll you get him here if the roads aren't rolling, eh? Listen, Gaines. Whoever controls the roads controls the country. And right now, that happens to be me. Sign off, Gaines. I've got to call the White House. You behave yourself. You won't get hurt.
I don't believe it, sir.
He's got us, Edmonds. If we go in and blast him out, he may wreck the road. What's your rolling tonnage now?
53% under evening peak, sir.
How about Strip 20?
Almost evacuated.
Yeah. Listen in on this, Davidson.
Standing by, Chief.
I'm going down inside with these cadets. We're going to work north, overcoming any resistance that we may meet. The watch technicians and maintenance crews are to follow behind us. Each rotor, as they come to it, is to be cut out from under Sacramento's control, then hooked into the Stockton control board. You understand?
Got it.
Check.
If it works right, we can move control of Sacramento sector right out from under Van's feet. And he can stay in his office there till he's hungry enough to be reasonable. Edmonds, get me a pistol.
Mr. Gaines, there's a man here, and he's badly hurt. He wants to see you.
Take care of him. I haven't got time to...
He's from Sacramento sector.
What?
Sir.
Send him in here.
Mr. Gaines. Mr. Gaines.
Take it easy.
Mr. Gaines.
You're Harvey from the mechanic shop.
Actually, I tried to warn you, tried to get away. He shot me 3 times.
Get a doctor, will you? All right, now. Easy, Harvey. Harvey, how long has this been building up?
It isn't the men. It's the engineers. I told them they were crazy, told them the roads got to roll. And when I tried to get away...
Easy now.
Bleeding from the mouth, sir.
Harvey? Harvey? Can you hear me?
He's dead, Mr. Gaines.
Come on, Edmonds. We better move. All right, you men. You saw Harvey brought in. How many of you want a chance to kill the louse that did it? All right, men. Anybody who hasn't got his mind on his job will be in the way. Now, here's the order. We move north, mounted on tumblebugs. We're going to try to regain control, rotor by rotor, before Sacramento sector knows what we're moving. Now, we've got to capture any watch personnel we run on before they can get word back, you understand? Men, surprise is vital. Use tear gas when possible. Shoot only when necessary. But get them before they can reach a phone jack. Any questions? No? Then move out. What's the score, Edmonds?
33 prisoners so far. No one killed.
For years since I rode one of these tumblebugs, forgotten how to steer it.
There's a man ahead. There at the rotor base.
Yeah, he's got a phone jacked in. Hurry. If he gets the word back, we're sunk.
I don't think he's seen us. I'll dismount again.
All right, Edmonds.
Halt! We're out fire!
Quick, he sees us.
Come here, you.
Look out, he's got a gun.
I got him, sir. I got him.
Grab his gun. Yeah, he had an intercom jacked in, all right. If he's got through to Sacramento office, it's going to be tough.
I don't know, sir. Maybe you can get the call through.
Listen. The road. Take off your noise filter. There. It's the road. The road is stopping. Halt your men.
Halt. Hold up there. Hold up.
Edmonds, there's a recon car coming up.
Relay station call for Mr. Gaines and the recon speaker.
Give it to me.
Here you are, sir.
Gaines here.
Davidson here, Chief. Van Cleek's calling you.
Who stopped the road?
He did.
Oh, he did he? All right, cut Van Cleek into me.
You thought I was fooling, eh, Gaines? What do you think now?
All right, Van. The road is stopped. You've won this trick.
Then why don't you get smart and give up? You can't win.
You forgot something, Van. You can't lick the whole country.
Yeah? Gaines, I've got a switch button in my hand. If I'll push it, it'll blow 300 yards straight across the roads. And then for good measure, I'll take an axe and wreck the control station before I leave.
That's pretty drastic, Van.
Yeah? If I blow this charge in the middle of Sacramento sector, it'll get an awful lot of people. There are plenty of shopkeepers still on Strip 20. That row of apartment houses next to the road will go.
Now, look, Van, you don't want to blow the road, neither do I. Suppose, Van, I come up to your headquarters and we talk this over. Two reasonable men ought to be able to make a settlement.
Is this some kind of a trick?
I'll come alone, unarmed. My men will stay here.
All right. All right, Gaines. But one wrong move and I blow the road.
Well, we've got to hurry, Dave. If I take too long, Van Cleek will get edgy and set off that charge.
I can't understand it. The psych tests are rigid. We've never had a failure in the Hum-Wadsworth-Burton method. Then suddenly a whole sector goes sour. How could Van Cleek get a whole crew of psych-cleared men to revolt?
It's easy, Dave. As my deputy, he was ex officio personnel officer for the whole road. He must have been faking psych records for years, transferring maladjusted men into his sector.
I've got that personnel record, Mr. Gaines.
Oh, thank you. This is Van's record here. Masked introvert, inferiority rating 7. Comment: in spite of potential instability shown on Wadsworth Curve, this officer is especially adept in handling men. He's adept, all right. I haven't got time for any more, Dave.
Chief, are you actually going up there to Van Cleek's office?
I've got to.
They'll be armed. They'll kill you.
I've got to take that chance.
Why don't you call in the Army? He won't dare blow the road then.
Yes, he would. Look at that psych record there. He's putting up a big, brave front, but he's rotten inside. He wants to be taken seriously. He wants everybody to think he's the most dangerous man in this country. If I call the Army in, he'll try to prove it by blowing the road.
But how can you stop him, Mr. Gaines? He'll have a gun. What'll you have?
What'll I have? Only a prayer. And what I know about Mr. Van Cleek.
All right, Gaines. Director Van Cleek will see you now.
Gaines, I want you to sign this now. The declaration of your recognition of the Engineers Control Committee. You've got 1 minute to sign it, Gaines, or I'll push this button and blow up the whole sector.
You better sign, Gaines.
You need this gorilla with the gun, Van?
Why are you...
Can't you handle one unarmed man alone?
All right, Harry, out.
But...
Out.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Now sign. What's so funny?
You are, man. You start a revolution because you think the engineers should control the road. Then when you've got control, the only thing you can think of to do is to blow it up. That's kind of silly, isn't it?
All right.
Tell me what you're so scared of.
I'm not scared.
Yeah, sitting there sweating all over that push button that you're holding. If your buddies knew how afraid you were, they'd probably throw you into the rotors.
I'm not afraid.
You're afraid of me right now, Van. You're afraid I'll have you on the carpet.
Got 1 minute.
You're afraid the cadets won't salute you. You're afraid that they're laughing at you behind your back.
No, I'm not. You keep quiet now. I've got a gun
Yeah,
here.
you're afraid of using the wrong fork at dinner. You're afraid people are looking at you, Van, laughing at you.
I am not. You dirty, stuck-up snob. Just because you went to a high-hat school, you think you're better than everybody, huh? You and your crummy little gold-braid cadet.
Van, you're a pathetic little shrimp. I understand you perfectly, Van. You're a third-rater. All your life, you've been afraid that someone would send you to the foot of the class, so you write out on your ear where you belong. I don't want to look at you anymore.
I'll show you. I'll put a bullet in you.
Put down that pop gun before you hurt yourself.
Don't you come near me now. Don't you come near. I'll shoot now.
Give me that, Van.
No, let me go, will you?
Give me that pistol. Yeah. I thought if I wounded your little ego, you'd forget to push that button and pull a trigger instead. I'm afraid you'll never make a good executive, Van. They have to know when to punch buttons. Gaines here.
Chief, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. Attack now, Davidson. Mop up. I'll hold the control room. I've got Van Cleek. I think his little revolution is just about over.
Mr. Gaines. Mr. Gaines.
Oh, Mr. Evans, I forgot about you.
I've been waiting at the sector office.
Yes?
Is everything under control?
Yes, all's rolling. Those are the watch engineers going under to check Sacramento sector inch by inch now.
Remarkable organization. Remarkable.
Thank you.
Howley's in, Chief. San Diego Circle rolling. Bakersfield, Fresno, Stockton.
Stockton, oh. Oh, no.
What's the matter, Chief?
Is trouble, Mr. Gaines?
There sure is. I promised to meet my wife at Stockton for a show. She's been waiting there since 9 o'clock last night.
Oh, dear me.
Dave, see if you can get her for me. Try the sector office.
All right, Chief.
And Dave, see if you can calm her down.
Oh, sure, Chief, sure. I'll tell her the roads must roll.
No, don't tell her that. I don't think she'd appreciate that. She's heard it too often. Well, I better get going. Bye, Dave. Keep 'em rolling.
Keep the road and the roadways go rolling along.
You have just heard another adventure into the unknown world of the future, the world of Dimension X.
Next week, the strange story of the test pilot who became the first man ever to invade outer space, and of what he found when he got there. Listen next week to The Outer Limit.
Tonight's adventures in Dimension X, The Roads Must Roll, was written by Robert Heinlein and adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in the cast were Wendell Holmes as Gaines and Ralph Bell as Van Cleek. Your host was Norman Rose. Music by Albert Berman, engineer Bill Chambers. Dimension X is produced by Van Woodward and directed by Edward King.
The strange who became the first man ever to invade outer space. What he found when he got there. Adventures in Time and Space. Transcribed in future tense.
Dimension X.
In the beginning, there was Jordan, thinking his lonely thoughts. Out of the loneliness came a longing. Out of the longing came a vision. Out of the dream came a planning. And out of the planning came decision. Jordan's hand was lifted, and the ship was born.
You, look out! Are you all right? Yes, it missed me. What was it? A mutant with a slingshot. I think it dashed down that passageway. You want to go after it? We'd never catch it, Alan. It's probably 12 decks above us by now.
I didn't think they ever came down this far. The trolls usually get them before they reach this level.
They get more daring with each generation. This one looked like a female.
Male or female, it might have killed us. I told you this trip was pure foolishness. Climbing 24 deck levels to hear a crazy old man rave.
We're almost there now. Compartment X15, level 24. This is the place.
This area smells as if it hadn't been visited by a sanitation crew for generations.
Part of the ship is almost deserted.
Yes?
This is the compartment of John the Witness.
Who are you?
My name is Hugh Hoyland. I'm a cadet from the scientist barracks. This is my friend Alan Mahoney.
What do you want of John the Witness?
Only to talk.
Are you a believer in Jordan?
Naturally.
I have heard that there are those among the younger scientists who doubt the word of Jordan.
To doubt is death. We're not heretics.
Enter.
I have brought a gift of tobacco, grown on the richest level.
It smells good.
I assure you it's the best.
Wait here.
What a rat's nest. What the devil do you think he can tell you?
I don't know. Now, hush.
Well?
You are John the Witness?
I am.
Good eating to you. I am Hugh Hoyland. This is my friend, Alan Mahoney.
What brings a gentleman of the scientist class to my humble apartment?
I have heard that you and your parents before you have long been keepers of the legend of the ship.
Since Jordan gave the word.
I am anxious to hear the word as Jordan spoke it.
Why?
You see, among the young scientists, there have been some who talk against the word.
Regulations against such heresy?
Some of them say the ship has no purpose. They say that we're here accidentally. That we have no more grace in Jordan's eyes than the most deformed mutant who dwells in the highest level of the ship.
What shall I say to you?
I wish to hear the word from the mouth of one who knows, that I may become more convinced.
Sit. You have gift for the witness?
The finest tobacco.
Good. I will dim the light. Now, pay close attention, for these are the words as my father's father's father gave them to his son's son's son. This is how the ship came into being, how our people were created. In the beginning, there was only Jordan, thinking his lonely thoughts. In the beginning, there was darkness, formless and dead. Out of the loneliness came a longing. Out of the longing came a vision. Out of the dream came a planning. And out of the planning came decision. Jordan's hand was lifted, and the ship was born. Mile after mile of good compartments, tank after tank for golden corn, ladder and passage, door and locker, fit for the needs of the yet unborn. He looked on his work and found it pleasing, meet for a race that was yet to be. He thought of man, and man came into being. Then Jordan checked his thought and searched for a key. Man untamed would shame his maker. Man unruled would spoil the plan. So Jordan made the regulations, some to speak and some to listen. Order came to the ranks of men. Crew he created to work at their stations. Scientists to guide the plan. Over them all he created captain, made him judge of the race of man. Thus it was in the Golden Age.
These are the true words?
As my father's father taught them.
But what of the strange beast-like people on the upper levels of the ship? Surely Jordan did not create them.
Jordan is perfect. All below him lack perfection. You have heard of the legend of Huff?
I have heard that he mutinied against Jordan.
Darkness swallowed the ways of virtue. Sin prevailed upon the ship. And before wisdom prevailed and the bodies of Huff and his followers were fed into the converter, some of the rebels escaped and lived to father the mutants. They are tainted with the sins of their fathers.
One more question, witness.
Speak.
What is the ship?
The ship is a great sphere. 25 kilometers wide and 100 levels deep.
I know that, but what about the upper levels?
The regulations forbid us to venture into the upper levels, but it is said that beyond the levels of the mutants lies the forbidden place where Jordan's spirit prevails.
So I've heard. But something troubles me. Something which prompted my coming here.
Yes, my son.
What lies beyond the ship?
What?
What lies beyond the ship?
This is heresy.
Answer me.
I will not permit such talk. The ship is complete. The ship is universal. The ship is everywhere. The ship is endless.
Your mutterings are those of a frightened old man. They answer nothing.
You question the word?
I think you lie.
Hear me, Mr. Highland. For what you have already said, I can have your body fed to the converter. Your soul launched on the endless trip.
You threaten me.
Hugh, for Jordan's sake.
You think I fear this dried fig of a man?
Hugh, sir, my friend is impetuous. He doesn't understand.
I might be persuaded to forget a substantial gift.
You pig.
Hugh.
Come on, Alan. The sight of this so-called holy man offends me.
No, you shall not leave.
Look, don't try to frighten me with a gun, old man.
Remain where you are, heretic.
I warn you, put down the gun.
No. No closer.
Drop it.
Very well, then. Death to the heretic. Alan, get him!
Is he dead?
I don't know. Come on, Hugh. We've got to get out of here. Now where? We can't go back. They'd feed us into the converter. What's that?
The old woman must have turned in an alarm. Come on, the patrol will be here in no time.
Where can we go?
The upper levels.
But the mutant.
We'll have to take our chance. Listen, that's the patrol we've got to climb.
There's a hatchway. Down the corridor.
Quickly.
Halt! Halt, do we fire?
The ladder.
Wait. How far are we from the outside wall?
Judging by the slope of the deck, about 2 miles. Mutant territory. Come on, we'll try this passageway.
Hugh.
What?
I don't know. I feel as if we're being watched.
It's your imagination.
Perhaps not.
Oh! It's only a ship's rat. Get a grip on yourself.
This is big as a dog.
Come on.
I can't drag myself much further.
We've got to find a compartment with water.
Oh, if only you hadn't asked him that stupid question.
There's no use going over that.
Why did you do it?
Why? Alan, I've been thinking about it for a long time. And when he began to give me those stupid pat answers, well, I just saw red, I guess.
But who are you to question the ways of Jordan? When you asked me to go with you to visit the witness, I thought you wanted spiritual help. I never dreamed
I'm sorry, Alan. I couldn't foresee this. I didn't know what...
Wait a minute.
Oh, what? Another shipwreck?
No. I thought I saw something move near that bulkhead.
I didn't see anything.
Maybe my eyes are going bad still. Listen. You behind!
Alan, look out!
Where am I? What are you? Get away from me. Alan! Alan! Look out for that knife. Stay away from me. Alan! Alan!
Don't kill him, Bobo. Not yet.
Who are you?
You must forgive my friend Bobo. Like so many of my people, he's rather impetuous where members of the so-called super race are concerned.
Who are you? What place is this?
As you can guess from my leg, I'm a mutant.
Where is Alan?
Your friend is dead. I was not able to restrain my people in time to save him.
Why don't you destroy me and get it over with?
We do not kill for pleasure, Mr. Hoyland, only when necessary.
You know my name?
I read your identification tag.
Who are you? Mutants can't read.
My name is Gregory. I'm a leader of my people. Although we are unfortunate in our heredity, Mr. Hoyland, many of us are quite intelligent.
Why do you live like animals?
We would rather live like free animals than like regimented slaves, as you do.
I've heard that you practice cannibalism.
Undoubtedly, you hear many things about us. We raise our own cattle on the upper levels, and those of our people who choose to farm raise enough crops for our small population. You turn your head. Why?
This one. I've never seen a creature like him.
Bobo is an unfortunate. He was born without the power of speech.
How can you tolerate a monstrosity?
We have learned to live with difference. If we began to destroy our imperfects as you do on the lower levels, there would soon be no one left.
It violates the regulations. The word of Jordan
You know,
states...
Mr. Hoyland, your people are really primitive and barbaric.
You dare say that to me?
I dare say a good deal more. Let us go to my compartment and speak further. I'm always interested in information of the lower levels.
I won't give you any information.
Bobo, I want Mr. Hoyland in my cabin, please.
Hey.
I would advise you to go quietly, Mr. Hoyland. Bobo has a hatred of superior beings, which is unfortunate, but quite understandable. Proceed. Enter, Mr. Hoyland.
This is where you live?
Yes.
But you have books.
Stolen from your libraries, Mr. Hoyland.
Compton's Astrophysics. The Philosophy of Interstellar Navigation. Celestial Mechanics. You have read these?
Most of them.
Why did you bring me here? What do you intend to do?
Do you believe in Jordan, Mr. Hoyland?
There is no other belief.
And the trip? I suppose you believe in the trip, too.
Well, what else is there to believe? When you die, your remains are fed to the converter, and your soul makes the trip.
And where does the trip take you?
Why, to Centaurus, of course.
Huh? And where or what is Centaurus?
Why, Centaurus, mind you, I'm just telling you the orthodox answer. Centaurus is where you arrive when you've made the trip. A place where everything is happy and everybody's happy and there's always good eating. It's mythological, of course.
And you believe this?
The peasants believe it, literally, but many of the younger scientists like myself know that it's figurative, symbolic. Why do you ask?
Didn't it ever occur to you, Mr. Hoyland, that the trip is exactly what your peasants believe it is? That the ship and all the crew were actually going someplace, moving?
The ship can't go anywhere. It already is everywhere.
Imagine a place bigger than the ship, much bigger, with a ship inside it, moving inside.
But there can't be any place bigger than the ship. There wouldn't be any place for it to be.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Listen, you know the lowest level?
Yes.
If you started digging a hole in the lowest level, where would that hole go?
Where would that... Oh, no. No, it's forbidden to think such a thought.
Where would it go?
No. No, I can't think about it.
Bobo. Bobo, we're going to take Mr. Hoyland to the place.
Where are we going?
To the top level.
But it's certain death.
Nonsense. I've been there 1,000 times. Come along.
No, I won't. You can't make me.
I think we can. Now, shall we proceed peacefully, or shall I have Bobo persuade you? Open the door, Bobo. Inside.
What place is this?
This, Mr. Hoyland, is the main control room. Why, Mr. Hoyland, you're trembling.
It isn't true. There is no such place except in mythology.
Oh, you younger men are so wise, Mr. Hoyland, except for one thing. This happens to be the main control room of the ship.
But it's nothing but a huge room with an instrument panel.
What did you expect?
How do you know this is the main control room?
See these instruments? Using them, the navigator, many hundreds of years ago, actually steered the ship on its voyage.
I don't understand.
I didn't suppose you would. Your people have been so steeped in superstition and ignorance that the whole concept has lost its meaning. Sit in that chair. Don't be frightened. Sit down.
Very well.
Look up. What do you see?
Nothing but a huge shield.
Watch it for one moment, Mr. Hoyland. You are going to see something that few of us have ever been privileged to witness. Something so dazzling that you may find it hard to accept at first. But it is there. It is a reality. And ultimately you must accept it.
What are you doing?
I'm dimming the lights. Don't be frightened. Keep your eyes focused on the shield above us. Ready? Watch.
The shield. It's sliding back. Ghost of Jordan.
Well?
What am I seeing?
The universe, Mr. Hoyland. The universe in all its beauty. The stars, the planets, the suns, the moons, and the constellations. This is your heritage, Mr. Hoyland. The heritage you've been too stupid to see.
But it can't be. The ship is the universe. There is nothing but the ship.
Ah, but there it is. You see it before your eyes, spread out like a canopy of glory. You still deny it? Answer me, Mr. Hoyland. Do you deny it?
No, I can't. They lied. They lied to us.
Good.
Why did you close the shield?
You will see it again if you're not afraid.
I'm not afraid.
Many times. I've shown this to others of your people whom we captured, and though they saw it before their very eyes, they would not believe it.
Tell me about it. Tell me about the ship, about the universe. What are these things? How did this come about?
Many thousands of years ago, on a planet like those you've just seen, a planet called Earth, a scientist named Jordan decided to build a ship that would carry men from one planet to another. For many years, Jordan and thousands of others studied and planned. And when they were finished, they built the ship. A ship so large that it had to be assembled in its own orbit beyond the place called the moon. 60 years it took them to construct. And when it was finished, a whole new science had been conceived. Then the trip was begun. The trip that was to land a colony of Earthmen on a far-off planet called Centaurus, millions of light years beyond the furthest planet ever reached before.
How do you know these things?
Among my books are the log which Jordan himself kept, and the records of the journey for the first 40 years.
What happened?
There was a mutiny. A man named Huth led a rebellion of those who wanted to turn back. In the struggle, the navigators were killed, and the crew fell into a state of anarchy. In the years to follow, small groups of men tried to organize the ship for navigation, and each time they failed. Finally, the whole idea was abandoned. And so for centuries, we have swung in space, unmanned, undirected, living in a lost world of our own making, without purpose, without direction.
Why have you told me this? Why have you brought me here? You could have killed me.
Can you guess?
No. No, I can't. Unless... But it would be too fantastic.
Well?
You want to finish the trip. Yes, that's it. What would it take to do it?
A miracle, almost. The crew would have to be trained. Many people, each skilled in a certain duty.
Couldn't you train your own people?
We are too few. Besides, the main drivers in the lower levels where my people are forbidden to go. No. It would mean that both our peoples would have to work together. Our differences encouraged rather than denied.
It can be done. You showed me. You can show others. I can show them.
Can you?
I'll see the captain himself. I have an uncle on the central board. I'll tell him what I've seen here.
And do you think he'll believe you?
Send one of your people with me.
That's asking a good deal.
I'm risking a good deal by going back.
Very well. Bobo will go with you.
He can't talk.
There will be no need for talk. I will write a message guaranteeing safe conduct for a group of unarmed scientists to visit the main control room. Bobo will take you safely through our territory. What happens when you reach your own level is up to you.
One moment. Yes, what you...
Quick, Uncle, let us in.
But this mutant...
He's harmless, please.
Now, what is this? You're wanted
I know all about that. Listen, Uncle, I must see the captain.
The captain? Are you mad?
You're a council member. You can get me to see him.
They'll kill you. You're wanted for heresy.
I don't care. I must speak with the captain. You're close to him. You can arrange it.
I don't understand why...
Uncle, listen to me. The ship is moving. I can prove it. Do you understand? There is a purpose in the ship.
I don't understand what you're babbling about.
Never mind. Just talk to the captain. Tell him I have information of tremendous importance. Tell him I've arranged a truce with the mutants.
A truce?
Here, show him this paper signed by their leader. Do it, Uncle, for my sake.
I don't know.
Please, Uncle. If I'm to die, let this be my last request to you.
Very well. I'll speak to the captain. I'll try.
And you say, Mr. Hoyland, that you saw this with your own eyes?
I swear it, Captain. I swear it on the word of Jordan.
Let me see that paper again. What do you think, Commander Erst?
I don't know, sir. It might be a trick.
I guarantee you safe conduct.
If these things are as Mr. Hoyland reports them, it would pay to risk a few lives.
The man is a convicted heretic.
Still, we mustn't discount his word entirely. He has a safe conduct. The mutant risked its life coming with him. I think we might investigate.
You will do it?
I'll have an expedition outfitted. Dismiss, Mr. Hoyland.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Captain, do
Commander Erst.
Sir.
You'll make the necessary arrangements for an expedition. I trust you understand.
Perfectly, sir. Perfectly.
Lieutenant.
Mr. Hoyland.
You'd better halt your men here. This is the spot.
Patrol, halt. I see no welcoming party of mutants.
There will be none. Their leader will meet you inside the main control room.
You don't say. And just where is this main control room?
Beyond that door.
I see. All right, men. Ready arms.
Why do you ready arms?
In case of ambush.
Ambush? Don't you think they could have ambushed you on the way up here a good deal more easily?
You know, Mr. Hoyland, I think you're a mutie lover. They have a place in the converter for that kind.
Lieutenant, are you mad?
No, Mr. Hoyland. But most certainly you are. To think that we could be lured up here to be slaughtered with a fantastic story about some mythical control room.
Guns ready, sir. Lieutenant, I warn you, these people have acted in good faith. If you break
Call
that faith
your
now...
mutants to open the control room, Mr. Harlan.
No, not until those guns are dismounted.
As leader of this expedition, I order you to call them.
I refuse. You cannot do this thing. This is no way to keep a truce.
Very well, if you refuse. Oh, there! Mutant! Come out!
For Jordan's sake, Lieutenant.
Too quiet for comfort. Mutant! Open the door!
Please, Jordan, don't let anything happen. Please don't.
It's opening. Ready, men. Someone's coming out.
Look at his leg.
Horrible.
Steady.
He's walking toward us.
I can't stand this.
Look out!
Gregory! No! You fools! You've killed him!
Here come the rest of them. Fire! That should teach them a lesson they won't forget. All right, men. Inside the room. Orland, you're under arrest as a conspirator in this ambush.
Ambush, you fool, you blind, stupid fool.
That'll be enough. Have you been inside this place before?
Yes.
What's all this machinery?
These are the controls he would have used to steer the ship.
He's gone out of his mind, Lieutenant.
Steer the ship? Who?
The leader. The one you killed.
This ugly mutant?
This ugly mutant happened to be a man of true greatness.
You're mad.
Am I? This man had a vision which could have saved you, but you chose to kill him because you couldn't stand the sight of his difference from you.
I'll not listen to these ravings.
Close your ears. Shut your minds against the conscience that tells you it's wrong to kill. That tells you that your need to be arrogant only proves your inadequacy to yourself.
Shut him up. Don't listen to him, man.
You can't shut your ears. My words sting you. You cannot shut your mind. And you cannot shut your eyes. Don't do this!
The roof. It's moving back.
Look. Let the vision of this confound your ignorance and blind your eyes. This is the heritage you tried to stifle in your own breasts. This is the heritage of stars and open skies for which men have yearned for centuries. Try to destroy this, and you will only destroy yourselves.
Death to the heretic.
Kill me if you choose. But I say to you that this you cannot keep from our people, that they will seek it out, and the ship will be manned, and the ship will be steered, and there will be freedom and purpose and respect for ourselves. This is your heritage. Look upon the universe. Kill him! Kill him! Kill him!
You have just heard another adventure into the unknown world of the future. The world of...
Dimension X.
This has been the concluding broadcast in the current series of Dimension X. If you are interested in the continuation of this series, please write and tell us so. Your ideas and suggestions will be given the most thoughtful consideration in determining the future of this program. Just drop a letter or postcard to Dimension X, care of NBC, Radio City, New York.
Today, Dimension X is transcribed Universe, written for radio by George Lefferts and based on a story by Robert Heinlein. Featured in the cast were Mason Adams as Hugh and Peter Capell as Gregory. Your host was Norman Rose. Music by Bert Berman. Engineer Bill Chambers. Sound created by Manny Siegel, Max Russell, and Wes Conant. Dimension X is produced by William Welch and directed by Edward King. Ed Archie Gardner tangles with Tallulah Bankhead on The Big Show.
Adventures in Time and Space. Transcribed in future tense.
Dimension X.
The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, bring you Dimension X.
Nobody knows exactly when the nightmare began. They must have planned it for years, though, because looking back, you can find little incidents here and there. Like the concrete mixer in New Jersey that killed the bricklayer, and the time Senator Milburn was sucked into the rotopress at the Capitol Office Building. Unrelated accidents, we thought at the time. But they add up now. The day we really should have suspected was when the men walked off the construction job at the new Brookmeadow atomic pile on Long Island. I'll never forget that day. I was working as a statistical clerk in the project then, operating one of those miracle computing machines developed to fill the requirements of Army ordnance. They called it ENIAC.
Mr. Gurney?
Huh? Oh, yes, Bella?
The chief wants to see you in his office.
Me?
Unless you're no longer Samson Gurney, he wants to see you.
Oh, well, of course. What do you suppose?
I do not read minds, tea leaves, or crystal balls.
Of course. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have asked.
Don't apologize.
I'm sorry.
And don't wait for me. Mr. Hawk is in a hurry.
Yes, I'll go in right away, of course. Her name was Bella Roscoe. She was Mr. Hawk's secretary. I had always thought her a very attractive woman, but for some reason, she didn't seem to like me. Of course, on a clerk's salary, I couldn't exactly afford to take ladies to the best places. But I've often thought that if there weren't such a disparity in our ages, I might have... But then...
Come in.
You wanted to see me, Mr. Hawk?
Gurney, I thought those electronic computations were infallible.
They are, sir.
Well, we got a kickback from the chief physicist. These nuclear equations are inaccurate.
No, they aren't, sir.
I'm telling you what the memo says.
Well, sir, occasionally, if there's an overload, the machine goes haywire. Sort of has a nervous breakdown, you might say. We usually rest it up for 24 hours, and it's okay again.
Well, do whatever has to be done.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and Gurney.
Yes, sir.
You've been with the Bureau for over 15 years now. It would be a shame to have to remove you because you aren't keeping your mind on your work.
Well, Mr. Hawk, I hardly think anyone...
Excuse me. Hawk speaking. What? Dave, what? All of them? Well, have you tried to talk to them? Yes, of course. I'll send one of the safety engineers over. This place is falling apart piece by piece. Miss Roscoe?
Yes, sir.
The men on the construction gang at the new building have walked out on us.
What?
Someone slipped this morning and fell into a turbine.
No.
Get the chief safety engineer. Have him over there right away.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and contact the personnel office. Have them ask the union to order the men back to work. Get back to me.
Yes, sir.
Mr.
I'm
Hawk...
sorry, Gurney. I have no time to discuss anything further. Get on the job and stay awake, or we'll have to make some changes.
But, Mr. Hawk,
That's all,
I assure
Gurney.
you...
That's all.
Now, you probably gathered by this time that I wasn't a very important man at Brookmeadow. I hated Mr. Hawk with a passion because of his superior attitude, and because I knew that Miss Roscoe admired him as a man of strength and decision. I was secretly happy he was having trouble with his construction crews. That evening, I wandered over to the site of the new atomic pile to see where the man had fallen into the turbine. They had the construction area fenced off with barbed wire, and a security guard stopped me.
Hold it, buddy. You can't go in there. That's a restricted area.
I'm Samson Gurney from the statistical section. Here's my identification.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gurney. Nobody's allowed in the area.
I see.
We had a lot of the employees come over tonight to take a look, but nobody gets in. Orders.
Tell me, was he, killed instantly?
Like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This guy was checking the magnetic field inside the turbine, see? Right down inside it. It's all over.
But if it wasn't hooked up...
Look, Mr. Gurney, they got smarter guys than me trying to figure these things out. Yesterday it was a concrete mold. Wham! 2 guys get sucked right into the mixer.
My.
3 days ago, a bulldozer starts up by itself and runs wild. 1 killed. 2 almost. Go figure it out.
You know what I think? Sabotage.
We got more guards and FBI men in here than we got workers. Flea couldn't get through without proving he didn't come off a Russian wolfhound.
Now, I'm a statistician. All my life, I've been interested in statistics. So, a simple-sounding thing like this started me off. I went back to the office that evening instead of going home, and for the next 2.5 hours, I computed figures on the probability of industrial accidents for the types of machines we were using. I took one look at my figures and went down to Hawk's office. Just as I figured, he was staying late working on a settlement with the construction workers.
Yes?
Oh, good evening. I saw the light.
Well, Mr. Gurney, what are you doing here?
Is Mr. Hawk working late?
Yes, I am, too.
I wonder if I could see him a moment.
We're busy right now. Could you make it tomorrow?
It's very urgent. I'll wait, if you don't mind.
Suit yourself.
Miss Roscoe, I wonder if perhaps you would consider having dinner with me this evening after you're through.
I have a date, Mr. Gurney.
I was thinking we might go to Raymond's. They have very good spaghetti.
Mr. Hawk has already asked me to have dinner with him at the Golden Shish Kebab.
Well, of course, that's out of my class.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Hawk,
Yes,
Mr.
Miller?
Gurney would like to see you a moment. He says it's very urgent.
Urgent? All right, I'll give him a minute.
Okay.
Thank you, Miss Roscoe. Mr. Hawk, in the past 3 months, industrial accidents all over the country have taken a sharp, unexplained upswing.
Why don't you stop playing FBI man and stick to your job, which, incidentally, you haven't been doing too well. You and our computing machines have made mistakes before. Now, this is probably another. I'll have Miss Ross come so... Sir? What's the matter with this blasted buzzer? Miss Roscoe! Miss Roscoe!
Yes, sir.
Stop this blasted buzzer. Get a repairman, a mechanic, anything, but stop the thing. And you, Gurney, get out.
I went back to my office to get my hat and coat, feeling about as unhappy and humiliated as a man can feel. He had thrown me out in front of her. The office was dark and deserted. The whole building seemed oppressive and unnatural. I walked across to my desk. In front of me, the ENIAC glowed and chattered eerily as it worked on the equations we had fed it that morning. Its many-fingered circuits hung against the wall like some great octopus. And the thousands of tubes glowed orange and blue in the dark like 1,000 eyes staring at me. It almost seemed alive. Then it increased its tempo a moment, and a fleeting notion crossed my brain that it was laughing at me. Laughing like all the others. What was the matter with me? What? I shut my desk drawer and began to put the cover on my ENIAC typewriter when an amazing thing happened. The most amazing single incident of my life. Alone in the darkness, with no one at the keyboard, the ENIAC typewriter began to type. Am I going crazy? This can't be. There's nobody here. There's nobody here! Oh, no, I'm just imagining it. It's in my mind. But I hadn't imagined it. The paper was there in the carriage. Would I dare read it? Or would the whole thing suddenly vanish and send me shrieking to the nearest psychiatrist? Sampson Gurney. There are some equations better left unsolved. The answer to yours is death. It was not until I turned to go that I was suddenly aware of the utter and complete silence of the room. Then it dawned on me. The ENIAC had stopped working.
Gurney, do you expect me to believe this? It's insane.
Mr. Hawk, I'm a saint.
Take it easy, Gurney. Now, this is just some practical joke someone in the office is playing.
There was no one in the office.
Of course not. They wired up the machine and left.
I checked the machine myself, Mr. Hawk.
All right, Gurney. You leave this note with me, and I'll turn it over to the security force for further investigation.
But...
No buts, Gurney. The security men will handle it.
Yes, sir.
Well, maybe you've been working too hard lately. You've got to relax more. Now, here, let me light that cigarette for you.
I watched him trying to make the lighter work.
I don't understand this. I just put fluid in it. There's a brand new flint.
It seemed ridiculous. A little piece of mechanism like a cigarette lighter frustrating the big, important executive.
Oh, blast this lighter. Ah, here's a match.
It was such a small thing. And yet, as I watched him, a thought began to take shape in my mind. Nebulous at first, incredible perhaps, but it grew.
You just relax for a few days. Everything will turn out all right. Now, the main thing is not to let little things upset you.
It was the cigarette lighter that gave me the idea, and what Hawk had said about little things. For the next week, I observed the 1,000 petty little annoyances around the office. The door handle that wouldn't turn, the telephone connection that cut off in the middle of an important call, the power failure for no explainable reason. Suddenly, these things began to fall into a pattern. I, Sampson Gurney, knew that I had stumbled onto a secret so monstrous in its implications that I was almost afraid to pursue it. On October 12, 1956, I established communication with them. I will curse the moment to my dying breath. Who's there?
Night security guard.
Oh, hello, Henry.
Oh, hello, Mr. Gurney. What are you doing here so late?
I'm just doing a little repair work on my ENIAC computator.
Huh. Sure some mess of wires and tubes.
Yes, it is.
Well, I gotta finish my rounds. Won't forget to turn out the light, will you, Mr. Gurney?
No, Henry, no, I won't forget.
Night.
Good night. When you were a child, did you ever try to imagine that you were all-powerful? I felt like that when I finished hooking the input of the typewriter to the main vacuum tube of the ENIAC. Then I turned on the current that sent 1,000,000 volts of pulsing energy into the electronic nerves of the machine. I am certain that if anybody were watching me in the next moment, he would have thought me a raving maniac. I still wonder if perhaps it is not all a nightmare. Now, you! If what I have guessed at is true, if there's life and intelligence in this room, make a sign! There was nothing. Nothing but the hum of the machine and the dull glowing of the tubes. Then, suddenly, without provocation or explanation, it happened. The ENIAC typewriter began to respond to the impulses from the machine. The letters were Y, E, S. Yes. It had happened. I, Samson Gurney, had communicated with a machine. I was about to try to communicate again when suddenly, on ball-bearing casters, a heavy metal filing cabinet began to roll away from the wall toward me. I started to move to one side when another cabinet slid out from the wall, and then another, surrounding me. That was when I realized that they cooperate. We taught them that, you see, on the assembly lines and in the factories. There was no way out. How could a mere man reason with dumb machines? Still, they needed us. They needed us to oil them and repair them and build them. They hadn't gotten to the point yet where they could exist without man. I had to make them understand that before they killed me. Listen to me. You must listen. What good will it do you if you kill me? I'm only one man, but I can help you. I can be useful to you. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Good. You're going to need men to oil you and repair you. I'll do anything. I'll do absolutely anything you want, but in the name of God, don't kill me. If you can understand this, answer me. Answer me. The appeal captured the longing of centuries. Man as slave to the machine. And after a moment, the circuits glowed more brightly. The cabinet slid back to the walls. As I tore the tape from the machine and read it, the words were almost pathetic in their longing, but most ominous in their implication. They read, "Address me as master." My life for the next 6 months was a nightmare. The ENIAC gave me messages which I had to transmit into my telephone. I was frantic. I began to lose weight. I couldn't sleep. My nights were torture, a constant fear. It was in December, just after Christmas. I was sitting in my room, listening to a broadcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, a special bulletin. Already 24 hours before the peak of the New Year's traffic, over 1,000 deaths have been reported. This is an unprecedented figure. Again, if you...
That very afternoon, I had transmitted a message to the telephones for relay to all machines of transportation. The message was one word: kill. Next morning, I avoided my office. Instead, I went directly to the office of Mr. Hawk. I was highly agitated. My lips trembled as I spoke.
Well, Gurney?
Mr. Hawk, what I'm going to tell you sounds crazy. I know it does, but I must say it.
All right, say it then, for heaven's sake.
Mr. Hawk, have you ever heard of resistentialism?
Resist what?
Resistentialism.
You're not making sense, Gurney.
Mr. Hawk, I'm trying to tell you. All these accidents, the trouble with the machines, Mr. Hawk, they're alive. They think, they cooperate, and they hate us.
Who?
The machines.
Gurney.
You've got to believe me. I've communicated with them. I know. What are you doing?
Now, just relax, Gurney. Everything will be all right.
What are you doing?
Miss Roscoe, send for the plant physician at once. Mr. Gurney has had a nervous collapse.
But, Mr. Hawk...
Everything will be all right, Gurney. We'll give you a nice, long rest.
You fool. You blind, stupid fool! Can't you see what you're doing? Fool, fool, fool! When the plant physician arrived a few moments later, Lucius Hawk was found at his desk, strangled to death in a nest of telephones. The wires were still humming softly.
Samson Gurney, you stand accused of the crime of murder. How do you plead?
I did not kill him. I didn't.
So record. Prosecution will proceed with testimony.
Now, Miss Roscoe, did the accused quarrel with your employer on the morning of the murder?
Oh, yes. He and Mr. Hawk quarreled violently. I could hear Mr. Gurney screaming at him. And Mr. Hawk asked me to send for the plant physician.
What were his words?
He said, Mr. Gurney has had a nervous collapse.
Now, Mr. Simpson, you are a guard at the Brook Meadow Project?
Yes, sir.
When did you have occasion to meet the accused?
Right after those accidents. He was snooping around the construction area.
Samson Gurney, court hereby finds you guilty of murder in the first degree. Recommendation that you be examined, committed to the state hospital for the criminally insane at Matawan.
And that's how I came to be here at the hospital, Dr. Klein. That's the whole story.
Thank you, Mr. Gurney.
You can see that I'm not insane. You must believe me, Doctor.
Of course I believe you, Mr. Gurney. Now tell me about this revolt.
It will begin in Washington, then spread to New York.
Yes?
The Madison Avenue buses lead the charge. Picture it, Dr. Klein, 3,000 buses roaring rampant through the streets, people running like rats in a maze looking for manholes in the pavement.
And you really believe this will happen, Mr. Gurney?
I know it, Doctor. The worst part of it is there's no way to stop them now. It's too late.
Now, you mustn't excite yourself,
but
Mr.
Doctor,
Gurney.
don't you see? It's fair enough, I suppose. We built them. We taught them to think for themselves. It was bound to come. I guess the female machines will be worst of all in the beauty parlors. They're more high-strung, you know.
Well, since there's nothing we can do about it, Mr. Gurney, suppose you go to your room and
Maybe if I went to my old Plymouth, I could make a deal before the police cars got me.
Yes, Doctor?
Would you take Mr. Gurney to his room, guard? He's already been given sedation.
Yes, sir.
Those concrete mixers may have made a mistake, you know. Just high spirits and all that. But if they got so they liked the flavor...
We'll see you later, Mr. Gurney. Now, try not to worry too much. All right, guard.
This way, sir.
Oh, machines revolting. Telephones strangling people. Oh, blasted cigarette lighter. Why won't it work? I just filled it. Flint is good. Oh, well, you can never trust this newfangled machinery.
Next week, Dimension X will present a story of the future. A story of an insignificant pebble in the sky called Earth, and of a man from a distant star who grew to love this unimportant planet.
Dimension X is transcribed each week by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of the magazine Astounding Science Fiction.
Nightmare was written by George Lefferts and based on a poem, The Revolt of the Machines by Stephen Vincent Benet. Featured players in the cast were John Gibson as Mr. Gurney and Rita Lynn as Bella Roscoe. Norman Rose is your host. Music by Albert Behrman. Engineer Bill Chambers. Dimension X is produced by William Welch and directed by Edward King.
Adventures in Time and Space. Transcribed in future tense.
Dimension X.
The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, bring you Dimension X. Ralph Waldo Emerson speculated, if the stars should appear one night in 1,000 years, how would man believe and adore and perceive for many generations the remembrance of the city of God? Now, this was philosophically interesting. But on the edge of the galaxy, there is a planet which swings on its orbit in a cluster of 6 suns. These suns hang in the sky above. Never less than 2 shine down through the entire 23.8 hours of the planet's day. The yellow light has burned down on the planet continuously into the past, till the mind of man runneth not to the contrary. Thurman was a reporter for the Cerro City Chronicle. He covered them all, from the night police beat to politics to the sports pages. And the city editor wanted him to cover the biggest story of the year, perhaps of all time. It was an interview, a particularly difficult interview. But then, since his first days as a cub, Thurman had specialized in difficult interviews. He didn't expect violence, though, from an astronomer.
You're from that newspaper? Well, you've got a lot of gall coming here.
Now, wait a minute, Dr. Aton. It's only a job.
I've read your paper. You've been writing this observatory for 2 months now. You've attacked me personally. I have nothing to say to you.
All right, look, this is your chance to get your side in the paper. I'll give it to you straight. 2 months ago, the observatory issued a press statement that the world was coming to an end. Now, that's the same story that the cult of Revelations has been preaching. And when a scientist backs that up, it's news.
Our conclusions have nothing to do with the cult. The cult of Revelations is full of superstition and mysticism. We are scientists.
Yeah. And you got the people pretty angry.
That does not matter.
You know, if I can't get the story from you, I'll have to go somewhere else.
Go ahead.
All right. You know, Dr. Aton, the paper can be pretty rough on someone who doesn't cooperate.
Young man, if you're not out of the observatory within 5 minutes, I shall call the police. Now get out.
The reporter walks down the long hall from the observatory. The light filters through the high windows, the yellow light of Gamma, the brightest of the 6 suns in the planet's sky. Beta is almost at zenith. Its red light floods the landscape to an unusual orange. The planet's sun, Alpha, is at the antipodes. And now as Gamma sinks below the horizon, the red dwarf sun, Beta, is alone, grimly alone. It's a short drive from the observatory to Cerro City, and the red light glares from the highway. The temple of the cult stands, hewn from the solid rock of the Dormite Mountains, outside the city. And in the inner courtyard stands Sor, the priest of the cult.
Woe to the unbelievers! Their souls will rot with the absence of light.
Sor! Sor, wait! Your Reverence, please! Please. Tell me, Your Reverence, what will happen? What are you waiting for here?
The day of the coming, is written in our doctrine of Revelations. It came to pass that the sun, Beta, was alone in the sky. The world was shrunken and cold. Men did assemble in the public squares and highways. Their minds were troubled and their speech confused, for the souls of men awaited the coming of the stars. The lip of the cave of darkness past the edge of Beta. and loud were the cries of men. There was no light on the surface of the world. In this blackness there appeared the stars in countless numbers. And in that moment the souls of men departed from them. Their abandoned bodies became even as beasts. And the stars then reached down the heavens' flame. And where it touched, the cities of the world flamed to destruction. So that of man and all the works of man naught remained. So it is written.
Dr. Sharon, you're the only scientist I could find in the city. Where is everybody?
In the hideout.
In the hideout?
The place bored me. I wanted to be out here where things are getting hot. I want to see the stars the cultists are talking about. Besides, they don't want me at the hideout. I'm too scrawny to survive.
Well, wait a minute. What is the hideout?
Well, we professors have managed to convince a few people that our prophecy of doom is valid. We've got about 3,000 people. They're supposed to hide where the darkness and the stars can't get at them. We hope they'll survive and leave records.
Survive? Survive what?
Oh, there are lots of names for it. The cultists have their myths.
Oh, yes. What about that? What is there to these myths? As a matter of fact, what is there to this doctrine of revelations?
I'm a psychologist, not an archaeologist. How true it is, I don't know. But the cultists say that every 2,050 years, all the suns disappear, and there is a total darkness. And then they say things appear called stars. Of course, men go mad. They mix all this up with a lot of religio-mystic notions, but that is the central idea.
Yeah. Well, that's impossible, isn't it? I mean, there are always at least 2 suns in the sky, most of the time 4 or 5.
There are not now, only Beta.
Dr. Sharon, you mean that there's going to be worldwide darkness tomorrow? That all mankind will go violently insane? What's behind that?
Well, for one thing, this is history of civilization of the world. We've located a series of cycles of civilizations comparable to our own, all of which, without exception, were destroyed by fire at the very height of their culture.
All right. But is there any scientific theory behind this and that would explain it?
The University Observatory finished their calculations 2 months ago. Tomorrow there will be an eclipse of Beta so that the planet will become dark. That eclipse comes every 2,049 years. Darkness comes. Maybe those mysterious stars that no man has ever seen. And then, madness and the end of civilization.
I see. And the scientists expect to live through this at the hideout, huh?
They plan to photograph the eclipse and leave the records, and then the rest of mankind will know what to expect.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Sharon, what is there in darkness to drive men mad?
Have you ever experienced darkness, young man?
No, but I know what it is. It's just, well, no light.
Draw the curtain.
Well, what for? If we had 4 or 5 suns out there, we might want to cut the light down for comfort, but with only Beta...
That is the point. Just draw the curtain and then come here and sit down.
All right. What? Dr. Sharon, I can't see you.
Feel your way.
Yeah, but I can't see. I can't see anything.
Do you like it?
Well, no, it's awful. The walls. They seem to be closing in on me. I want to keep pushing them away.
All right. Draw the curtain back again.
The light. The light. Dr. Sharon, have you got a drink?
Right here. That was just a dark room.
Yeah. It wasn't really so bad.
You're afraid.
Yes, I am. Just darkness can do that?
This isn't just a metaphysical theory, young man. It's promulgated from observed data. Come with me.
Where?
The locked ward down the corridor.
All right.
Were you at the Sarrow City Centennial Exposition 2 years ago?
No, I was overseas on assignment.
You remember hearing about the tunnel of mystery that broke all records in the amusement area?
Yeah. Wasn't there some fuss about it? The Anti-Vice Society had it shut down?
It was shut down, all right, but the Blue Noses had nothing to do with it.
Oh?
That tunnel was nothing but a mile-long passage through darkness. You rode in a little car, and it took 15 minutes to get through. Very popular while it lasted.
Popular?
There's a fascination in being frightened when it's part of a game. Absence of light is one of the instinctive human fears. People came out of that 15 minutes of darkness shaking and half dead with fear.
Half dead? I thought there were some deaths.
Bad hearts, but that wasn't the big danger. Now, which key is this?
Wait a minute, Dr. Sharon. Where are we going?
You'll see. No, the heart attacks were actually good for business, but there was something else. Here, I'll show you. I want you to see somebody. Latimer. Latimer.
Go away.
Latimer, I want you to meet somebody. This is Mr. Theremin.
No. No, go away.
Hello?
He's pushing me. Make him stop pushing me. Go away.
I'm not touching him. What's wrong?
Latimer is afraid.
The walls. They're falling in on me, the walls. I've got to get out. Let me out.
You can't go out, Latimer. It's all right.
I've got to get out. Let me out. Let me out.
At sleeping period, we have to give him a shot of morphine. Otherwise, he'd bat his brains out against the wall.
Well, what's wrong with him?
Nothing. Nothing but 15 minutes in the darkness of the tunnel of mystery.
Oh, Doctor, that's impossible.
1 person out of 10 came out of the tunnel that way. That's why we had to shut it down.
Well, why? Why should darkness do that?
It's obvious man cannot exist without light. Longer periods of darkness would obviously be fatal. The scientific theory is that the consciousness of light is necessary for mental activity.
Please, doctor, let me outside. Let me outside. Please, I can't breathe. They're pushing me. They're always pushing me. I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
There you are, Theremin. That's what 15 minutes of darkness will do. Man just wasn't built to operate without light. There are always at least 2 suns in the sky, most of the time more.
Yeah. Just 15 minutes of darkness.
Now then, look out of that window. Imagine darkness everywhere. No light as far as you can see. Black. Everything black. And the stars, whatever they are, well, can you conceive it? Your mind wasn't built for that conception. When the real thing comes, you'll go mad completely and permanently. There's no question of it. Tomorrow, there won't be a city left standing in the world.
Well, why, Doctor? Why should the cities be destroyed?
If you were in darkness, what would you want more than anything else? What would it be that every instinct would call for? Light. And how would you get light?
I don't know.
You'd burn something, and every city in the world will go up in flames. Shall we go back to my office, Mr. Theremin, and have another drink?
Through the skies, the red sun Beta shines alone. The wind howls across the city. It's cold, colder than man can remember. And as the hour approaches, the reporter goes out and speaks to the man in the street.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, but I'm from the Chronicle. I'd like to talk to you.
Ah, a reporter, huh?
That's right.
My name is Pallett. 2 L's. Remember the 2 L's.
All right. Now, Mr. Pallett, what's your occupation?
Power technician at the North Division plant.
Uh-huh.
You're making some kind of a survey, huh?
Yeah, in a way. Where are you going now?
Home for supper.
Well, how about, Well, what I mean is, what are you going to do tonight?
You mean about this star stuff?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, mister. It don't stand a reason that the end of the world is gonna come boom like that. It just don't stand a reason.
In other words, you don't believe it?
I didn't say that, but it just don't stand a reason.
Uh-huh. Have you read what the scientists say?
I don't read stuff like that. Only the headlines.
Yeah. How about the cult?
Well, now, like I always say, I've got nothing against religion.
You don't believe them either?
Well, they've always been shouting about doom and sin. Listen, bud, when you've been around as long as I have, you get to know the score. It's all right to preach that Judgment Day is coming and all, but just the same, I'm putting money in the bank.
Uh-huh. Well, tell me, how about darkness?
About what?
How would you feel if there was no light?
You crazy? How could there be no light?
Well, now, suppose all the suns went down at once. Suppose everything was black.
Well, that's crazy. What's the use of supposing something like that? It couldn't happen. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's all. Thank you.
Sure. Look, mister, remember, pilot with 2 L's?
Excuse me, sir, but I represent the Chronicle, and we're conducting a poll to determine public opinion with regard to the predicted end of the world. How do you feel about it?
All this talk of scientific explanation. It's sinful. That's what it is.
Oh, I see. Well, then you're a member of the cult, sir.
I sure am. Been a member since I was a boy. My daddy was a member, too. I've seen the books. It's all writ down in the books.
Well, don't you believe the scientist's explanation?
Don't need it. Gonna save my immortal soul. Gonna stay on the mountaintop in a white robe while the stars carry me away to glory. Blessed be the stars. Amen.
Well, tell me, what are the stars?
The glory. The breath of the heaven. The spirit of the ultimate. That's what they are.
Uh-huh. Well, sir, the observatory has announced that it intends to take pictures of these stars.
Blasphemy! I sold my house, gave all my money to the poor. Won't need it anymore. Going to heaven with stars. Glory, glory, going with the stars.
Reporter checks the stock exchange, the stores. Business at a standstill. Doesn't pay to buy anything today, not if the world's going to end tomorrow. There are predictions of economic collapse in the financial section, layoffs at the factories on the edge of the city. And through the streets, the people mill and turn, unsure, crying in fear or shouting with bravado. But the story isn't here in the city. And so as the hour approaches, the reporter goes again to the observatory high in the hills.
Now look, Dr. Raton, if you are right, if the world is going to be destroyed, what's the difference if I stay here and observe and take notes?
Oh, nothing, I suppose, but you'll be in the way. We have work to do.
All right, if I stay out of the way.
I can't be bothered with you. Now, you'll have to leave, Mr. Thurman.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, hello, Dr. Sharon.
This place is like a morgue. It's freezing outside. The wind is enough to hang icicles on your nose. Beta doesn't seem to give any heat at all. It's so far away.
Why aren't you in the hideout, Sharon?
Me? I'm part of the race that isn't worth perpetuating. Who's got a bottle?
There will be no alcohol today. It would be too easy to get my men drunk. I can't afford to tempt them. Well, all right, Thurman, you can stay, but keep out of the way.
Well, thank you, Doctor.
Well, gentlemen, I think it's time we took our positions. The observatory dome is up these stairs.
Yes, sir. After you, Doctor.
What's that? The dome, quick!
What is it?
The plates. The photographic plates. They're all smashed.
There he is. A cultist.
He's going for the telescope. After him.
I've got it. It must be destroyed. It must be.
It's all right. It's all right. He didn't harm anything. Let him up.
Well, that's the high priest, Dr. Raton. Soar is his name. I was talking to him yesterday.
What do you want, Soar?
Nothing that you would give me of your own free will.
I made a bargain with the cult to give me certain data you had. In return, I promised to prove the essential truth of the creed.
There was no need to prove that. stands proved by the doctrine of revelations.
I offered scientific backing for you believers.
You made of the darkness and the stars a natural phenomenon, removed all its real significance. That was blasphemy.
The facts exist.
Your facts are a fraud and a delusion.
How do you know?
I know.
I suppose you think in trying to warn the world against the menace of madness, we are placing souls in jeopardy. Well, we have not succeeded, if that makes you feel better.
Your devilish instruments must be destroyed. We obey the will of the stars.
Someone call the police in Cerro City.
There's no time for that. Let me handle this. The eclipse is only a few minutes away. Look, Saw, will you give your word of honor to cause no trouble?
I will not.
Listen, just as soon as the eclipse starts, we're going to take you and put you in a closet with the door closed, and you'll stay there. Then you won't see the darkness, and you won't see the stars. And that means the loss of your immortal soul according to the cult. All right now, will you give your word of honor?
You have it. You will all be damned for your deeds of today.
Look! Cameras! Yes, sir. Check the exposures carefully.
We will, sir.
You're shaking, Mr. Theron.
Well, I don't feel very well, that's all.
You're not losing your nerve?
No, I'm just not used to this.
You could probably make the
Now,
hideout.
look, I've been assigned to cover a story and intend to cover it.
Professional honor?
Yeah. And I'd give my right arm for a bottle right now. I need a drink. What's that?
The cultist. That's the doctrine of revelations.
Well, I don't understand it.
He's chanting some old cycle language. The doctrine of revelations was originally written in it. There are probably 2 million people in Cerro City who are trying to join the cult. One gigantic revival.
Dr. Sharon, how do the cultists manage to keep the doctrine of revelations going from cycle to cycle? If everyone goes mad, who wrote this doctrine?
There are some people who don't see the stars, the blind. They would have memories, and that, combined with the confused, incoherent babbling of the mad, form the basis for the doctrine of revelations. The cult will be riding high down there in the city. I hope they make the most of it.
Dr. Sharon, I've just heard from the hideout on private line.
They're in trouble?
They are safe, but the city is in shambles. You have no idea.
It'll get worse. What are you shaking about, Doctor? How do you feel?
I don't understand. The cultists are rousing the people to storm the observatory, promising them salvation, promising them anything.
How long till the total eclipse?
An hour. I'm going to check those calendars.
It's a gamble. It'll take time to get a mob out here. If the darkness comes first, we're all right. Look at Beta.
Yeah. It's cut in half.
It's getting darker. An interesting phenomenon.
My collar's suddenly tight.
Are you having any difficulty in breathing?
No. Why?
Difficulty in breathing is one of the first symptoms we've experimented.
I'm cold. It seems to be getting colder.
We'd better keep our minds on something else.
Yeah.
One of the astronomers has a theory about the stars. He thinks they may be suns that are too far away to see in the light. He developed a fantasy about a planet revolving around one sun. It's a mathematical possibility. Of course, there couldn't be any life. Part of the planet would always be dark and without light. Well, it's obvious. Without light, there can't be any life.
It's time for the artificial light. We can't read the instruments.
Artificial light?
One of the researchers in the university worked it out. It's animal grease packed around a wick. Here, I'll light it with this spark.
Why, it's beautiful. Yellow light. After 4 hours of red. It's beautiful. Light. Light.
The dome is quiet. A priest in his yellow robe sways slowly as his lips move in the ancient tongue. Over and over he whispers the invocation to the stars. The technicians hunch over the instruments, and the sky gradually turns a horrible deep purple red. The air grows denser.
dusk, like a palpable entity, enters the room. The dancing circle of yellow light about the torches etches itself into ever sharper distinction against the ever-gathering grayness beyond. Outside, Beta is a mere smoldering splendor, taking a last look at the world. The western horizon in the direction of the city is lost in darkness, and along the highway to the observatory surges a menacing, shadowy mass.
The mob from the city. They're coming.
How long till total eclipse?
15 minutes. But that mob will be here in 5.
We'll hold them off. Come on, Thurman, downstairs.
Now, wait a minute. There's no light down there.
We have to block the door. Come on.
I can't breathe. I can't go down there.
Take a torch. We'll take light with us. Come on. Atten!
I'm here. Did you bar the door?
They won't get in.
All right now, everybody. 1 minute till totality. 1 minute. Just before totality, I'm changing the plate. That will leave one of you for each camera. Now remember, if you feel yourself going, get away from the camera.
It's dark. It's getting dark.
Sharon, where are you? I can't see you.
I'm right here.
30 seconds.
Look out, the priest.
I can't see him.
And the wicked shall perish, and the souls of the true believers shall be transported in glory to the stars.
You can see him against the torch.
Don't let him get to the telescope.
From the stars there reached down a heavenly flame, and where it touched, the cities of the world flamed to utter destruction.
Grab him!
I'll take care of him. The world must be destroyed by the stars.
I got it!
5 seconds to totality. 4, 3, 2, 1.
The sky is black, and through it shine the stars. 30,000 minute suns shine down in soul-searing splendor. It's more frightening in its awful indifference than the bitter wind that shivers across the horrible, cold, bleak world.
The stars. The stars! The stars! The walls! The walls are coming in on me! They're coming in! Light! Light!
Darkness. Forever and ever and ever, and the walls are breaking in. We did not know! We did not know! We did not know!
On the horizon in the direction of the city, a crimson glow begins growing. 1,000 fires strengthen in brightness that is not the glow of the sun. 1,000,000 fires, as a world mad in the darkness screams in terror for the light. The night has come again. You have just heard another adventure into the unknown world of the future. The world of...
Dimension X.
With this program, Dimension X concludes the present series. We hope to return to the air in the near future. Watch your local newspaper and listen to your local station for the resumption of the series.
Dimension X is presented, transcribed each week by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of the magazine Astounding Science Fiction. Today, Dimension X has presented Nightfall, written for radio by Ernest Kinoy from the story by Isaac Asimov. Featured in the cast were Lyle Sudrow as the reporter, Cameron Prudhomme as the astronomer, and John McGovern as the psychologist. Your host, Norman Rose. Music by Bert Behrman. Dimension X is produced by William Welch and directed by Fred Way.